Hey, Henry. Hey, hey. Hi. Okay, let me on the music from Suzuki, because we need some background, you know? And we'll watch some tutorials. Yeah, hi. What was the one that I liked the most for a while? Could be... Weird one. It was 3 hours thing. It's one. Let's see, what's this? Where you are? Ah, you are on my stream. It's just my working space now. Yeah, I'm here. Hello. Hi, Stina. Здорово. Здорово. Да. Блин, долго еще будет идти эта чертова реклама? Боже. В общем, да. 2, 1. We can now hear. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, so about what we're gonna do today is watching tutorials about how to make a Holocure-Like game, how you see. So, I'm here with Open Unity. Let me just show it to you. There. And like maybe a month or two ago, I have made a moving thing. There won't be any background, but it's moving. I like can... Maybe I can show you the position somehow. Let me see if I can show you the position. Inspector... Like, where it should be... Art... No. Packages... Player move. It should be somewhere here. Maybe if I will on it, it will show the... No, it's not gonna show. Anyway, just believe me, it's moving. Just believe me, it's moving left when I press left and moving right when I press right. Also moving up and down, but without animation. Because we are making something like Holocure. So yeah, we can understand how to make a background for this thing so you see that it's moving. Okay, let's... I am sure about this, Henry. I have tested it like a month or two ago with some things that was showing me the coordinates of this thing, and it was changing to the direction where it should be. So yeah, you'll see, Henry.
Every level map is infinitely generated in some way. What that means is that if you continuously travel in a certain direction, you will not loop around nor will you hit a roadblock. You will simply travel forever. So in this part 2, as the title of the video suggests, we'll be tackling exactly that. And by the end of this part, it should have something like this, which is map generation, and we will have it optimized as well. And without further ado, let's begin. Before we can get started with any code for our map, we first have to set up our terrain. We'll begin with the background. We'll be using the LPC terrain repack that I found on OpenGameArt as our terrain sprite sheet. You can find the link to this in the description below.
Let's see. What's in there? Huh? They call it the terrain sprite shit. Let's. Okay. Zip Dovland. Okay, so how I now use it? Question mark.
It contains a variety of terrain tiles and props which will be helpful in populating our map.
Oh wait, I need to open the VJustice folder. Give me a second. Projects. This Unity editor VJustice. Not in a min, you have to check. What I have to check? Yeah, it's not in the min. Yeah, I need to check where all this work and where I need to put all this. So yeah, just give me like maybe a few minutes. It will take. It should be in assets, I think. Maybe. I'll just put it somewhere here. Terrain. Okay, VJustice. Where this is? It's assets art. Okay. Assets art. Now in this вон еще видео не озвучив якийсь хлоп з Індії. Ну да. Ну типа. Оно старенькое, этому видео как бы 2 года. Даже больше уже. Но оно все еще работает. Да, с какими-то проблемами, но с этими проблемами я вполне могу разобраться, если я понимаю английский, или могу просто спросить у чата GPT, к примеру. Здавався, не можу результат. Не можу застудився. Ясно. Ну, надеюсь, ты скоро переболеешь. Okay. So, I took the terrain, let's see what we need to do with it.
Later on. After extracting the folder, drag and drop this into the art folder and rename it to terrain spreadsheet.
Okay, Henry. Okay.
Once that's done, the next thing we have to do is to slice the spreadsheet. Similar to how we sliced the player spreadsheet in the previous part, we first have to change a couple of settings in the inspector window. And now we gotta change the sprite mode to multiple. Change the pixels per unit to 32. Change the filter mode to point no filter. And after making sure your settings is the same as mine here, scroll down and hit apply to confirm the changes. Now let's head into the sprite editor by clicking on the button in the inspector window. For now, we only want to slice out a few of the terrains, which is these three, 1, 2, and 3. Now, here's where things start to differ from the player spreadsheet. If you recall previously, we had used the automatic slice option located within the slice pop-up here at the top left of the sprite editor. However, because all the sprites in our terrain spreadsheet are of different sizes, you can see some are big, some are small, it's better to manually slice them. To do so, hold left click and drag anywhere on the sprite editor, and release when you have your desired slice.
Okay. Hold what? Again?
Some are small, it's better on the sprite editor to manually slice them. To do so, hold left click and drag anywhere on the sprite editor,
Um. Seems like it doesn't work. Control, Alt, no. Shift click. Slice. Grid by cell size. No. It's kind of like this, but no, we need to... Automatic maybe? No, it won't work as cell count and trim. Custom outline. By changes, revert. I see how. Okay. Now I need to understand where is the right pixels. Oh, I see. Also, this is going to the other direction now. We're gonna use those three. Just in case. Oh, I see. Here, 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 and this. No. Dang it. Go here. Let's go like this. Now. Okay. Generate. Oh wow. No, Ctrl Z. How can I? Okay.
And release when you have your desired slice.
Okay.
Or the size of your slice, sorry. Yeah, you should now be able to see a blue box with green coordinate points. Don't worry if the box is too big or small, you can always resize it by dragging the 4 blue dots at the corner of the box. Alternatively, you can also use the pop-up menu that comes with creating a menu slice located at the bottom right of the corner to achieve maximum
but what if I... Oh wow. Oh wow, it is done here too. Wow. Can I somehow... That's difficult.
precision. Yeah, let's use the
It doesn't work like he said.
So we use this box here. Now all we have to do is to resize our slice to be the exact same.
Convert. Slice. Grid by itself? No. Esoteric grid. Well, pixel size 32 or 32. Yeah, let it be like this then. Twice. Yes. Smart. Twice. I don't understand. I really don't get it. Why it doesn't work like it should? Like, he said to...
Name and use look box is to like see somewhere. However, within the slice pop-up here at the top left of the sprite editor. However, because all the sprites in our terrain sprite sheet are of different sizes, you can see some are big, some are small, it's better to manually slice them. To do so, hold left click and
hold left click and drag. I don't have. Oh, okay, I see where it is now. Okay, good.
And drag anywhere on the sprite editor and release when you have your desired slice. Or the size of your slice, sorry. Don't worry if the... Alternatively, you can also use the pop-up menu that comes... Yeah, let's use the latter, so we use this box here. Now all we have to do is to resize our slice to be the exact same as the desired terrain tiles. We can begin with this, number 1. And yeah, just follow my position values as shown. Which is, we're going to be using 0 for this, 352 for the Y, 32, 32.
Okay.
And now for number 2 will be 32.
I see. Okay, now it's work how it should. And there it goes, the third one. Okay.
352, same, 32, 32, 64. Okay, once all 3 terrain tiles have been sliced out. And now we can close out the sprite editor and hit done. Now Y 32, 32. Okay, done. Now hit apply the top right.
Apply. Okay, now it should somehow work.
Perform the changes once all 3 terrain tiles have been sliced out.
Okay.
And now we can close out the sprite editor and head back to your editor.
Okay. Oh, wow. Well, if it's gonna work at least. So, okay, why not?
In your project window, you should be able to see these like sprites. Let's now create a background for our terrain. To accomplish this, you'll be using a tile map. When working in pixel art, I recommend to use tile maps when stylizing your environments as they can be beneficial in many ways. Braggies has an amazing video explaining tile maps and their benefits. So let's head into the hierarchy and then create a rectangular tile map.
Go where?
Benefits. So let's head into the hierarchy.
There to the object tile map rectangular. Okay. So there to the object tile map rectangular.
And then create a rectangular tile map. You should now be able to see a grid within your scene view when you select the tile map itself. And rename the grid in your hierarchy to be background grid and...
Okay. Rename it to background grid.
The tile map to be a background tile map. It's
You know what? Let me show you the boost screens always. Like, I need to make it to look like... Yeah, I think Google here should look a little bit different. Give me a second, I need to... change the canvas like this for you. So is the video. Then put it somewhere here. And at the same time you will see my Unity. Yeah, so you see where am I and what I'm doing. Yeah, that would be much better, I think. Okay. Now what's he saying like to do?
But before we can get started with painting our tile map, we first have to create a tile palette. Navigate to the art folder and create a folder called tile palettes. You use this to store
Tile palette. All deleted. Yes. I can create tile palettes.
for any future tile palettes. Now there are two main ways to bring up the tile palette window. The first of which is just to click this button here, and the second of which is to
Okay.
go up here, window, editor to the then tile
Okay,
palette.
I see.
If you don't have this button, it may be because you're using an earlier Unity editor version. Alright, now after your tile map window is open, drag and dock it however you like until you're satisfied.
Let it be here. Okay.
And afterwards, let's click and create a new tile palette at the top of the window here, and it should bring up a pop-up. Now change the name of the palette to be background tiles, and make sure the grid and cell size is set to rectangular and automatic respectively.
Background tiles. Tile palette. Background tiles. Rectangle automatic.
If they aren't already. And once all the correct settings are in place, simply click create.
Okay. Background tile. Create. And
Your Explorer should now show up, and all you have to do is navigate to our tile palettes folder that we created previously and select it.
okay.
Before we can proceed further, however, let's head into our tile palettes folder and create a subfolder called tiles to store our tile assets.
Create tile.
Multi-select all the slice sprites before dragging and dropping them into the tile palette window, and navigate to the tile subfolder within the tile palettes folder.
Let's see. So I need to go to this, then drag it. This. Wait. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Okay, it's a art now. What is he doing again?
The tile palette window.
Ah! I did the wrong thing. Yeah. What? Tile palette window, but drag tile sprites or tile sprites as here. I see. Tiles. Look like this, you should see it. Yeah, you see it a little bit there at the upright. Okay.
And navigate to... Alright, great. Let's begin painting our tile map. Simply click on any of the tiles within the tile palette window and head into the scene view. To place the tiles, all you have to do is left click on the desired cell. And there's a faster way of doing so. You can click and drag to paint multiple cells in a short time instead of just clicking each of them.
I see. Okay. And let me show it really moving. Let me show it's really moving. Oh, you see? I am moving. And you haven't believed me, but it is. It's moving. Okay. So, stop now. And let's see what he say to do the else. Yeah. Yeah, it's moving, it's alive.
Individually. And yeah, let's make sure to paint until our entire game view has been filled with tiles and even more. For example, I'll paint mine with 2020.
Just so you know, I will use this to generate maps and draw maps, because, well, we'll have some drawn up maps, like pre-drawn maps with the corners, with walls and everything that will block your way out of the map. But the first map will be just the plane, because, well, you see.
Grid size so that it is big enough. Make sure to choose a good mixture of the 3 tiles so they don't seem repetitive.
Okay. So we need to make it like a little bigger for one chunk of this thing. I don't know how to delete it, but who cares? I'm just here for a while. Okay. Okay. Now stop.
Alright, now you can hit the play button, and as you can see, the entire game view should be filled up. And
Yep.
if it's not filled up, it's probably because your player is not reset to the 0-0 position, so just reset it, as it will be very important later. on. While painting, you might notice some common tile map problems. If you did not encounter any of the following problems, you may proceed to the next
Gap in between tiles, line in between tiles.
section. So the first problem is the gaps in between the tiles, and the second will be the lines. Now, for the gaps in between the tiles, like shown here, it usually means that the sizing of the tiles are not uniform at all. Double check the sizing of the tiles given, which is 32 by 32, and make sure they are the same before proceeding. You will find that the gaps will disappear after inputting the correct settings.
We have another problem.
As for the lines, the problem usually stems from anti-aliasing being enabled. Navigate to Project Settings,
Edit, project settings, and
hit under Quality, and now
quality. And what I need to find here?
under the anti-aliasing dropdown,
Anti-aliasing. Should be somewhere here. Anti-analyzing. Oh, there it is. Disabled.
set it to be disabled. And you should now see that the lines have disappeared.
Okay, now let's see. Should we without the lines now? Ah, still there. Oh wait, no, them disappeared. Or appeared for a second. Well, that's weird. That's very weird that the lines are still here. Let's double check the... Oh wait, there's a screen position out of view frustums. Screen position, camera react. That's a very weird Easter. What? Why is it here? Okay, I don't think that it's matter for now. Let's just continue for next. Current position out of view first room. Current position out of view first room. Maybe.
Now it's time for us to create our first chunk. By definition, a chunk is to divide data into separate sections. You've probably heard of the word from Minecraft or other sandbox games where they define a segment of the world. That's the exact kind of concept we are aiming for. These chunks we will be creating will be used to not only define the background but the props that are around the world, which includes trees, rocks, and future power-ups.
Okay.
Create an empty game object and rename it to terrain chunk.
Great. Wait.
Future power-ups. Create an empty game object and rename
create empty.
it to terrain chunk.
Create empty. Terrain chunk.
Make sure to also reset its
Chunk. I name it as terrain chunk, not chunk. Okay.
As it is very important. You can do so by clicking on the three dots over here and just hitting reset. Next, important object and rename it to terrain chunk. Make sure to also reset its transform as it is very important. You can do so by
vector transform form reset.
Clicking on the three dots over here and just hitting reset. Next, we also want to drag our background grid onto the terrain chunk.
Grid goes here.
And make it a child. And let's create another empty game object under the terrain chunk and name it props to hold.
Okay. Props.
All our props. This will be used to store any
The child here, so make sure you do so. Like this.
background elements that the player will come across. Let's also reset its transform. Now with that being said, let's create an empty game object with the name prop location 1 under props and give it an icon by clicking on the blue
prop location 1. Prop. Create another empty.
Let's also reset its transform. Now with that being said, let's create an empty game object with the name
prop location 1. Create empty prop location 1.
Prop location 1 under props and give it an icon by
let it be gray thing, or maybe let it be yellow like on his. Why not to be yellow? Yeah.
Clicking on the blue icon, clicking on the cube icon next to the name. I'll give mine a yellow icon. Make sure to reset the transform.
The transform
Of this object as well, and move it to anywhere within the bounds of the tile map.
Okay. Can I by this? Let be here.
If you can't really see the icon, it might be because your gizmos at the top of the editor is disabled. So you can click this button to just enable it.
I see.
Now, let's create several more prop locations and do the same until the entire chunk has been populated enough. Make sure to space them out nicely such that no two prop locations are right next to each other.
Okay, let's duplicate here, duplicate here, duplicate goes here, and duplicate and goes here, and another place too, like here.
Okay. Now, as you might have guessed already, the reason why we are creating these empty game objects instead of simply putting the props themselves in these locations is because we want them to be random, so that these will be the spawn points of the randomly chosen props. This is so that every single game feels different and it is effective in boosting replayability. We can now finally head into some code. Create a script called prop randomizer inside this.
With the sharp script, of course. Project. Need to replace you guys to another place. Here, script. Create a C, but
Scripts
full
folder
name
and add it onto the terrain chunk.
prop randomizer. Okay. Create certain empty C# script. Prop randomizer.
Let's open it.
Terrain chunk. Cannot add script behavior problem, and the script need to drive the from mono behavior. I don't remember what is a mono behavior. Okay, anyway. Okay, now you need to see my other thing. It's a Microsoft Visual Studio. So I will put it to another thing. Microsoft script. Microsoft, where it is, Visual Studio. Yeah, we now gonna script. And I think you need to see only the certain part of it. Like this. Little button here somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So now we're gonna do what he said. What he gonna say.
And we want to start by creating.
Okay. Or wait, you maybe, yeah, you now see it a little bit more little. Okay, using entity Unity engine. And system connections generic, and Unity engine. Okay. Using system collections. You. Using some collections. Generic public class. Wait, no. In other scripts, I added mono behaviors. So let me see how it in player movement. The class Unity. Wait. It doesn't use a mono behavior here. Huh. Engine. Ah, there it is. Player movement mono behavior. Does he was using it in this video? Yeah, he did. Okay, public class, prop randomizer, tab mono behavior. Okay, now enter.
A few things. First off, we need two game object lists called prop spawn points and prop prefabs, used to reference the prop locations and
Public list, game object, prop spawn points, public list. Rift is difficult. Okay. Monarch and prop spawn points. Okay. Prop spawn points. Enter. Not just enter. Enter. It's very difficult thing, so I need to do this. After all this, I will ask ChatGPT to fix it a little bit if I do a mistake.
the prefabs of the props respectively.
Prefabs. Public list game object. That's prop prefab. Up. Enter.
Now we want to create
Enter void start.
a function called spawn props.
Wait. Why is it pre-wait void start? It shouldn't be pre-wait void start. Okay, then there is void update. Not pre-wait void update, it just pre-wait, it just void update. And void spawn
And
props.
then inside this function,
Void spawn prop.
we want to create a void loop referencing the prop spawn points.
Honestly, I didn't understand the one word what he said, but after we complete this Chris part of what he said, like here somewhere, I'm gonna learn what he said. I'm just copying and then I'm learning what he saying about all these things. Because it's kind of difficult for me to do same things in the same time for each object in collection. Object in spawn points.
Let's also create an instance within the for each loop called rand and set it to be a random number that has the value of 0 and the amount of objects in the prop prefabs.
Okay, so enter iterand the range zero count count.
We're going to use this to select the random prop that we're trying to spawn, or that we are going to spawn, sorry. Now let's instantiate the random prop prefabs at the current position of the prop spawn points we are looping through and set it to have no rotation when spawned. So we're going to be using quaternion.identity.
My brain is melting. I'll be honest. It's really difficult. Instantiate or prefabs. Cheat. Nope. Prefabs. Run. Transform position. Position. Operation identity. What iteration identity.
Now all that's left to do is to call the spawn props function on the start function.
Start prop.
Left to do is to call the spawn props function on the start function.
Spawn props. Okay. Okay, it's saved now. So the visualizer for now. And see what we have here.
Now head back into the editor and go to your terrain sprite sheet. We now want to open up the sprite editor and begin slicing some props for our use. I'll be specifically using the props at the bottom right, but you can choose any that you like.
Okay, so we're going here and we open right editor here. No, it's not that. I'll pull it. I forgot how
Now all that's left to do is to call the and go to your terrain sprite sheet. We now want to open up the sprite editor and begin slicing some props for our use.
There it is. Delete. Yeah, I'm gonna delete most of those little things. Because doesn't need to be like this. It's not very comfort for me to do it like this. Give me a second, I need to... Huh? And where it's comfort. After this stream, I will remake the sprites part, I think, and maybe we'll make the first character, and I think it will be Null. Okay, now let's use those rocks and maybe. Yeah, I think I'll just use the rocks and this thing. Okay. Now, like this. Draw you.
Be specifically using the props at the bottom right, but you can choose any that you like. Most of the slice sizes are 32 by 32.
Okay, so it should be 32. Hey. 32. Oh, I see. Why I can't make it 32? Base 32. Yep, it's like that. And copy. I can't. I can copy. Okay. I'll just make it like it should be like this. It will be 16 by 16 or 20 by 20, I think. 24 to 24. Let it be. Those. Will be 24. 32 by 32. Okay, now apply.
But you can manually adjust the ones that are bigger.
I'm gonna use just stones for now, because we like stones. Or wait, he really made it 32 by 32 like this? Okay, let it be like this then. He's smarter than me, so I think it's better to do it like he doing it. supply. I'm gonna use just the 6 for now. Because anyway, I will need to replace it, you know?
Alright, now that's done, we are going to have to drag and drop each of the sprites that we just sliced onto the scene, and then multi-select all of them and reset their transform.
Okay. So we need to place it somewhere like here? Like this? Okay. Now what?
We are then going to want to create
Prop here.
a subfolder under the prefabs folder and call it props.
Props and props. Create folder. Props.
And drag and drop all of the sprite game objects into the props folder to make them a prefab.
I see. So all this will go here. Yep. Now
Next, let's delete all these existing prop game objects on the scene as we no longer need them.
okay.
Let's now drag and drop the prop locations and the prop prefabs into their respective views. And to make it easier while dragging and dropping multiple items into the inspector views, let's simply lock the inspector.
Okay. Let me make it a little bit bigger just in case it need to be cubed. Okay. Vector is locked.
Over here. So this makes it such that it won't change when clicking on another item. Just remember to unlock it once you're done. And then let's just drag it in and...
Okay, inspector, prop randomizer script. I need to drive from mono behavior. Huh. Mono behavior is here. Public class player movement mono behavior. Yeah. And what's wrong? It's not the one that I opened, but need to open, but somewhere there we need to put a sharp. The end here maybe? Yeah. Okay. Now it should work. Now it should work. Safe. No problems now. How you see, even a little mistake can make us difficulties. Yep. Now it's work.
And yep.
Prop spawn, prop flip-flops. So spawn points, prop prefabs. List is empty. So range chunk prop should be.
Just remember to unlock it. You'll be able to see it done. And then let's just
In a terrain chunk. It need to go in the terrain chunk, like here. Yeah, that's fine, Henry. That's fine. Prop location. Terrain chunk. Prop spawn prop. Okay, now it's work. Prop locations goes in prop spawn points.
when clicking on another item. Just remember to unlock it once you're done, and then let.
Okay. Okay.
Let's just drag it in, and yep.
Our prefab is those. Prefab was here.
Now when you hit play, you'll be able to see that the random props spawn.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, random prop just spawned, like here. I need to make them go like under the character. Okay. Okay, now what? Now is our thing to do something else, right?
At the pop locations. Although this is great, there is one thing that we have to do before moving on. If you look towards your hierarchy, once the props have spawned, you should be able to see that each prop spawns outside of the terrain chunk.
So yeah, it was the position. Yeah, them have spawned
What we want
outside.
instead is for the props to be spawned as children of their respective prop location. This will help when we optimize in the future, and it's also good for keeping organized.
Okay, let's
Now head back into the prop randomizer script, and now we have to do two things. Let's assign a game object to the newly spawned prop, and reference the game object's parent and set it.
okay, so we now need to unlock the others. Okay. You see my no, you didn't. Why? Why haven't you? That's weird. That's really weird that you haven't seen the script when I'm unlocking it. Unlocking it like this. Okay, anyway. So there we need to make game object prop ravno. Game object prop is game object prop is
To the current spawn point
equals
transform.
and prop transform. Prop dot transform parent. Dot transform parent equal transform save it now and with all the Microsoft
And now when you hit
script.
play, the spawn props should be parented to the locations.
Let's see. Yeah, now them are parented to the location. Now will work like it should. But still, I don't like that the lines is like here. That's the weird. Like them appear sometimes. Like you see the lines here. That's weird. Okay, all the.
They spawn that. Alright, awesome.
Maybe in project setting inequality it haven't saved it like. Okay, anyway. Should be like this, so yeah.
Now we'll create a way to spawn more chunks, such that whenever a player is about to move off a chunk, another chunk spawns, thus making the world infinite and random.
Okay, so we need to make it like extra chunks. So I see the chunks here, so I need to make it like this. So the cubes is equal to this. I see. I now understand the. Wait. God damn it! What am I doing? I'm doing the wrong thing. There should be 5 out of this here. 5 and 1 here. Map. Then. Just so it unloads again. Okay, there is, yeah. I see. It's by all of this is 5 and 1. I see. So I need to make it like by those. It's like pre-generated chunks. Now let's add some other grass tiles. Okay, now that should be fine. And there was I see. Okay, now vector. Let's off it. I don't know how to off it, so we off it like this. Okay, 4 pre-generated chunks. With I need to see the prop locations. Frame chunk. Books. Number of hidden objects. Gizmos. Window. Ready. Let's see where he said us to on the gizmos.
So inside the scripts folder, range is different, and it is options is because we want them to be random. So segment of the world. That's the exact define the back. Create an empty game object. Drag our background under the background element. With that being said, let's mine a empty game object. Clicking on the transform of this object as well, and move it to anywhere within the bounds of the tile map. If you can't really see the icon, it might be because your gizmos at the top of the editor is disabled, so you can click this button to just enable it.
It should be on somewhere here. Debug draw mode. Till draw or frame. Wireframe. Focus on tile map. Great. None. That's weird that I can't see them now. Where I can see the layout? No. I'll save it. Just in case. Screen position out of view. Frustrum. That's fine. It's normal. It should be like this. But I can't understand where I can see the gizmos. Why I can't see them? Like prop locations. Position. Move to grid position. Transform. Ligand with you. That's weird that I can't see the gizmos, but let's just duplicate and place it in some different places, you know. Wait, no, I don't need this. Let it be just 5 for now. Okay. Let's see what we need to do. Map controller script.
Now we'll create a way to spawn more chunks, such that whenever a player is about to move off a chunk, another chunk spawns, thus making the world infinite and random. Create a new C# script called map controller and open it up.
Create script empty C# map controller and open it. I hope you will see it. I really hope you will see the map controller. Nah, you don't see it. As always. And now.
Inside.
Okay, using system collection. Yeah, as always. System collection. System actions generic. Well, I kinda feel the same, Henry, but it's not how it works. It just would be like this. Controller, mode of behavior. This. Then I need to put the end thing here. This. And there should this.
Right here, let's create a few variables. The first of which will be a public game object list called terrain chunks, used to store the prefabs of the different terrain chunks.
Public list game object terrain chunks. Okay. Public list game object terrain chunk. For fuck's sake, no. Why? It's autocorrect me. Can you not, please? Public list. Game object. Name it terrain chunks. JetBrains annihilation. No. I placed the wrong thing here. I see. This. Alex. Dot. Elections. This. Terrain chunks. You fooled me about the collab with Shargirl. Of course I fooled you. It was 1st April. What have you expected, my friend, huh? System. The engine. Yeah. Chunks. I see. Avoid start. Enter. I thought it was real. If it was real, that would be awesome, but no, it's not. There we just create the I see. Date always you. Henry, if it was real, I'd join Hololive just the another day, you know? If it was real, but it's not, sadly. Update. Anyway. I see. The problem here. Well, public like this. Yeah, it is like that, but Why void not in the
Secondly-
same? Why void not in the same? Ah, I see why void not in the same. Like this. Wow. Start. I don't understand why is it not going here. Can I grab it and like it should be the component of this, but it's not getting the component. Верхнего уровня требуется. Yeah, let's just make it like this then. Delete this. Do we need this? Question mark. Object on this terrain chunk with start. Still the same problem. Why? I see why it's not getting like this. Huh? But it's not in a... That's weird. Okay, I'll fix it with the... I'll fix it with the ChatGPT later. Because that's a weird thing here. I don't know why it's working like that, but... You know... Wait, update. Let's just write the script first. Update. Could be mono behavior. This problem is too much of for my brain.
Will be a public game object called player used to reference the position of our player.
Public game object player. Hell is wrong. There's really something wrong with the script here. Okay, I'll just write like it should be, and yeah. Public player. Wait. Public game object player. Game object. Here.
Here, the third will be a public float called checker radius. You'll see why this is handy later on.
Radius. Okay. Public float checker radius.
Number 4 will be a vector 3 called no terrain position, used to determine the next position where the
No terrain position. We know terrain position.
there isn't a chunk. Number 5 will be a layer mask called terrain mask, used to track which layer is the terrain and isn't the terrain.
I will come layer mask, terrain mask.
And last but not least, number 6 will be a player movement called PM, used as a reference to access variables.
Here. Movement PM. Generic. That's just very weird. The bug. CPU. I'll give it to ChatGPT so he fix it. Oh. That's okay. And you behavior. Public class. Wait. There are no of this? Is it? Wait. Ah, yeah, I did the problem here. I see. Now it should work like it is. PM and void. Enter this. Yeah, let me remake this thing. Void update. Oh, fake. One wrong button, place it, and all go into the void. You got the joke? I hope you got the joke. Okay. Now it's working like it should. Just don't place the dots here. Yeah, you got the joke. On the behavior. Okay, now we're doing the...
Let's also create a function.
PM, find object of type, player movement. PM... Find object of type, player movement.
Called chunk checker and call it within the update function. This is where we'll be doing the checking to see if we should spawn another chunk.
And there's another void. With chunk checker. Checker. What the hell is wrong here? What? Why it's like that? My brain doesn't brain. Why the hell it doesn't work like it should? Kicker. This. I was wrong. Okay, anyway, let's... He did the mistake and I copied it. Yeah, I'm dumb. Okay.
Head towards the chunk checker function, and inside there we want to start by checking the direction in which the player is moving.
Checker.
Let's begin by creating an if statement. Now this statement will be used to check if the player is moving right while not moving up or down. To do so, we simply have to check the movedir vector within our player movement like so.
My brain is literally melting right now. I know for what it's gonna be used, but I don't understand how it works. Okay, let's just copy. That part of the screen will be used to check if, you know, if the player go out of the chunk with the view. So yeah. Checker if PM move deer. Okay. If PM not move deer. Deer X 0, no, more than 0. PM move deer dot y 0 and then not equals 0. Rain Melton.
Now, within this if statement, we're going to create another if statement, such that it will be a nested if statement. This time, the condition will make use of the physics2d.overlap circle function to check if whether or not there is a chunk a distance away from our player. This is because we don't want to spawn chunks continuously, but only the areas that just don't have a chunk. The distance in this case will be the length of our tile map that we created previously.
Okay, so this part will be like create chunk if there are no chunk in front of. I see.
As mine is a 2020 square tile map, the distance is naturally 20. And of course, we are also moving right on the x-axis while not moving on the y-axis. So since that's the case, the distance of the point to check from the player would be new vector 3, 20, 0, 0.
That's a difficult part, but I got it. Okay. I got what he talking about. Okay. I still doesn't understand why it's work like this, but you know. There no of this. Okay, if physics to D to D my head's still in pain, so anyway. And what need the dots? What does need the dots? This thing need the dots? No, there is already a dots. Okay. Left circle. Oh, okay. Okay. Our lap circle. Dot. No, not dot. Player transform position. Player transform position plus new vector plus new vector 3 20 0 0 this uh-huh. 27. Can you please tell me the numbers of this? I don't get the problem here. Here need to be the... Wait, I see where I made the mistake. If, and there is if too. Yeah, now I get it. I get the problem here. Now should be fine. Like this.
The other parameters we need to have to use the physics 2D.overlap circle
Check radius.
is the radius and layer mask, both of which we created as variables recently. That's why I said that it'll be useful.
Rain mask.
Now, we must also put a not operator at the front of the condition because we are only trying to spawn a chunk if there isn't any chunks on that specific point that we overlapped.
So this thing prevents them to spawn always. Find the object of type. There is. Yeah, that's weird.
Inside
but okay.
of the if statement, let's do a couple of things. Set the no terrain position to be equal to our point parameter that we use for the if statement.
Altering position. And it's inside of this if. Wow. Okay, no problems now. Good, save it. While there are no problems, save. No terrain position. No terrain position. Equals air transform position. Position. Plus new vector 3. New vector 3. 0, 0.
And create a new function called spawn chunk. Now, within the spawn chunk function, we just have to choose a random chunk and spawn it. Very similar to how we did for the prop randomizer.
On chunk.
So,
Durant. Run initiate random within the random range. Zero. The range and count. And count. Date range and random. And No terrain position, indeed. No terrain position. Position. Identity.
Make sure to
Okay,
call
what
the
about-
spawn chunk function after setting the no terrain position.
Chunk. Okay.
Now comes the tedious part. As you might have guessed already, we have to do this for not only the 4 cardinal directions, but all directions the player can move in. Meaning, we have to do it for right, left, up, down, right up, right down, left up, and left down. The difference to look out for will be the point at which to check. Similar to how we counted the length of the tile map using the cells, up and down uses the count of the width of the tile map. The width of my tile map is obviously 20.
I'm 200. I doesn't understand what he's saying. It's... Wait, no, I understood. He said that we need to create a script that will make do the same, but in directions, in any other direction, not just right, because we made the direction for only right now. So yeah, we need to make another directions too. So yeah, it will be difficult, but I'm sure that we will make it awesome. So yeah, let's continue to what he's saying so we understand what we need to do. Let's see, else if left. Oh god. Okay. So he copied this part. It's right. Else if minus 20 here. Okay, direction right, that's left. Those are the same. Transform, they're just minus 20. Down. So we do this. Else if down up. No, I haven't. Okay, now up down. Kind of the same. Equal while Y more. Let's do this. If I understand right, all should be... Ah, I see. So at left, X like this. if down it's less than 0. Up and down is 20, but another position, I see. Like Y, it's minus 20, 0, 0. Zero. More than 0. Radius. Right up. Okay. Changes here. So it's more Y more. $20, yeah. 20. Left up. Change this position. X minus 20. Right down. Left down. Y less than 0. No. X less than 0. Right down, so it's less, so it's like this. Right up is that, left up is that, right down is that, left down is that. Okay, all should work like it is. Let's check if he... Alright. At right down, X is more. At left down, X is less. And left up, X is less, Y is higher. Yeah, all fine. Now all should be fine. What? What? I just understood how the script works. Henry, I'm smart, I understand how it works. Even without the checking those, you know? And without copying this, I just got an understanding. Cause it's just basic math. Left up is... Are you sure? Well, left up is like this. Yeah, pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it should be like this.
Now, when all is said and done, you should have something like this. Alright, great. Now head back into the editor and create a new empty game object called map controller.
Okay. I saved it, so I can off it. Now I can go to the Unity and create their map controller. Create map controller.
Make sure to attach the script to it as well. Next, create
script. No, map controller here. I can. I don't see the. Why I can't inspect it? It should be an empty game object, right?
game object called map controller. Make sure to attach the script to it as well.
That's weird. Why can't I... Am I gotten a bug? No, not end component. I need to... Dang it! What's wrong with the inspector? Properties. No. Randomizer. Can I... That's weird. Okay, global, local. As
well. Next, create a new
I see. Okay, I just needed to unlock it. I see. Okay, this. Can I remove component? Yeah. Okay, map roller script is here, and I need to reset transport
layer by clicking on any game object and clicking on the layer dropdown under its name and selecting layer. Add
add layer.
A new layer called terrain at whichever layer you want to.
Terrain. Let's be sixth. Terrain.
Use. I'll be using the user layer 6. Select your terrain chunk and change its layer to be terrain, and make sure to change the children as well.
Okay. Terrain, yes, change children.
Because we want all children to be a part of the terrain layer. We also need to add a box collider 2D and set it to be a trigger, and the size should be the same as our tile map, so it'll be 2020.
Okay, add component, box collider, size 20. Oh, I see. It's For us, it will be 20, 40 and 20. Or wait, no. Yeah, it will be 20 and 20. Because I will use the tile palette thing and will destroy some of those. Like this. Because it should be just 4 to 4. Or 2 to 2. Dang it! This. Like that. Okay. Spectre. No. Can I off the drawing thing? No. Give me a second. Oh wow. Oh wow, I see. Something is wrong.
We need this because physics 2D the overlap circle
Is trigger. Yes. 2020 non-physical material. Let's see. Okay. I need to order one of those. Second. Palette. I see I can over it by just pressing the same tool twice. Or maybe we need to set it like that. I don't know. Let me see the spectre size. I need the size of camera, main camera. Set far. $80? No. 100? Size 4? Size 3? Size 5? Okay, that's... Don't care. We need to understand what's wrong.
requires a collider, and it will not work without a collider. Let's now create more chunks for variety. But before that, let's create a prefab of our current terrain chunk. Create a new subfolder under the prefabs folder and name it chunks. Then
Prefab. Create folder chunks.
drag the terrain chunk into the folder. You can leave the terrain chunk in the scene view as it will be our starting chunk. Now, with the terrain chunk in the project window, simply Ctrl D to duplicate the terrain chunk. I'll just do this twice so that we have 3 different terrain chunks.
Okay, Ctrl D, Ctrl D.
And configure the amount of prop locations you want and their positions within each of the terrain chunks.
I see. Question mark. How I can do the
Configure the amount of prop locations you want and their positions within each of the terrain chunks.
Okay. Okay, now I see them. Location. I need to move it. Where's my moving tool? Where is the tool to move it? I see. This. 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 This will be like that. This, this, and this. It's like those. Okay. What? Henry, you hear me? I hope you hear me. You should hear me. Well, he said that we need to create chunks equally, and then we'll spawn randomly. So yeah, we will need a chunks with a certain items, with a certain things, to create a random generated map. So yeah, but we doesn't really need the randomized map if we create in the whole map by drawing it, you know? And I will do it in... I don't know when, but I will. Okay. So, now what we need to do? After changing the positions.
All we have to do now is to fill in the map controller parameters. Drag and drop all terrain chunk prefabs into the terrain chunks parameter.
Okay. Chunks.
Drag and drop the player into the player. All we have to do now is to fill in the map controller parameters. Drag and drop all terrain chunk prefabs into the terrain
Map controller terrain chunks. Chunk. Wait, where is map controller? Where is our map controller? Huh? Tile map? What have I done? What have I done? Assets. Brain not braining. Main camera, terrain chunk, map controller. Where is our map controller? The script is here, but I don't see the map controller here, so create empty object. Map controller. Reset. Oh wait, we are on chunk right now, right? I need to still not the chunk, but the let me reload all this like this, and if we are on chunks, but how I can not an okay. Okay, scenes. Where did he clicked? Ah! Ah, there. I see. I see. Okay, okay, all fine. Yeah, Bo, you try to cook. Yeah.
All we have to do now is to fill in the map controller parameters. Drag and drop all terrain chunk prefabs into the terrain chunks
Terrain chunk. Randomizer. Wait, I haven't. Map controller. Terrain chunks.
parameter. Drag and drop the player into drag and drop all terrain chunk prefabs in drag and drop all terrain chunk prefabs into the terrain chunks parameter.
Okay. Terrain chunks parameter goes here. Chunks. Goes here.
Drag and drop the player into the player parameter.
Okay, map controller. Player and player parameter.
Set the tracker radius to something small like 0.2 and set the terrain mask to be terrain.
Mask terrain.
Now hit play and you should be able to see the chunks forming around you when you move.
Okay, let's check it. Yep. Map infinite now. Oh, yeah, it's forming, but randomly, not quite like it should. I see. Yeah, like on the video, like there.
Awesome. But as you can tell, there are a couple of problems with this. The first and most noticeable problem is the gaps in between. As you can see, when I move around, there's a lot of gaps. Although we are using a fixed distance, this is happening because we are referencing the player position, which is constantly moving and constantly changing. As such, there will definitely be some gaps in between the terrain chunks. The second issue would be that some of the chunks are overlapping, and the reason for that is the same as why the gaps are happening.
Yep.
Before we begin making any improvements, we first have to understand what we are trying to.
Let's save. Just in case. Let's save. Okay, it's saved now. Damn. How much am I... It's already 2 hours and... Okay, we are doing the progress and I'm understanding how it works. And there, for now, no errors in there. So, all work like it should. So, yeah, we need to understand how to make another chunks now.
To achieve. So in layman terms, we are basically just trying to create static points of reference for every direction the player can move in, which is the 8 directions that I previously mentioned. So these static points will be attached to the terrain chunk itself and will be the point of reference for spawning.
Like 20 and 20. I think I anyway need to control this chunk. This. I just don't know how to make a view look better. How to understand life, I don't know. And I don't really care of how. Okay, Explorer. Oh, search by type, open search. Okay. Let's see, if we just move a little bit, it will appear like it should. Okay. But why is my camera is this big? I need to pick a radius. Is this mask terrain? It's map controller. It's main camera. Mask. Size of 4. 4 and 5? Yeah, let it be 4 and 5 camera view. Yeah, I think that would be good enough. Player size is 8 to 8. 8 and 5. Okay, I see. It's like that. 4 and 75. Yeah, now it look like it should. Okay, about other things now. What we gonna do now?
In the next chunk. Okay, now open up the terrain chunk prefab and create an empty game object under it called right. Now this will be used as a point to determine where to spawn the chunk on the right of this chunk.
Okay, so this I see. Create empty right.
If there isn't a chunk on the right. Okay, so make sure to reset as transform and set the X position to be 20 or whatever.
Press that. X 20.
Whatever the length of your map is. We are doing this because if you duplicate this terrain chunk and place it at the exact same location as you can see here, you'll see that they align exactly. Make sure to also give it an icon so you can see it without having to select it.
Okay. Models, search, cameras, tools, tools, view tool, yay. Yay.
Okay, so do the same for the other 7 positions.
For the other 7, okay. Left. -20. Great. Right up. 20. 0. Empty. up 20. Empty, left, up 20. D, D. Up. Wait, empty. Left, down. Empty. Down. Create empty. Right down. Go down. Okay. Now what?
So for right, we just did it. It was position X 20, up will be 0, 20, right down will be 20, and so once you are done, copy the static points by multi-selecting all of them and heading over to the other chunks you have created.
Okay. Copy. Paste. Oh, wait. Paste. Dang it.
Okay, now we have to create a way.
Can I bait it out of the... You know, like, shoot, but why is it not, like... Not out of terrain chunk?
So once you are done, copy the static points by multi-selecting all of them and heading over to the other chunks you have created.
Huh? Why it's inside of chunk? Well, there is outside of chunk. Oh, it's even here, it's inside of chunk. I see. Okay, I see. Anyway. Doesn't really matter, I understand, but just in case it's matter, I'm gonna paste it like this. Okay.
Okay, now we have to create a way to reference what chunk the player is standing on. This is because these static points are sitting on the chunk and we need to reference them to spawn the next chunk. So head over to our map controller first and create a new variable called terrain chunk. Then we simply want to
Map controller, public game object current chunk. Created under layer mask. Game object. Public game object. Rent chunk.
Return at the top of the chunk checker function when there isn't a terrain chunk. This is
If current chunk return. Okay. Picker. If current chunk. Return.
This is a failsafe basically. Okay, now create a new C# script and call it chunk trigger.
Chunk
Inside here, we want to create
trigger. Okay. Create. Ripped in, empty. Chunk trigger.
a reference to the
Using of course the same and mono behavior of course. Using system collections. Using system collections generic trigger mono behavior. Okay. Controller.
the current chunk that we just
Or MC.
created in the map controller. And also let's create a public game object called target chunk used to change the current chunk.
Their map. Public game object target map. Map. Void start. Oh wait, wrong. Start. Okay, good. Defined object type, map controller. Find object type, map controller. Okay.
And also let
It's alright. Could be alright. Uh-huh. Object find object type. Instead of finding any instance, so the faster. So it's an old one. Roller. Find object. Find first object by type. Find first. Huh? Object by type. Let's see if it worked the same. It should work the same, I think.
Let's set the current chunk to be the target chunk if the player is within the boundaries of the chunk area, meaning within the
Wait, hold on trigger, stay to D. Okay. Void start, private void. It's not private void start, it should be just basic void start.
collider.
Wait, void. Wait, on trigger, stay to D. Stay to D. Oh. If call compare tech. Compare tech. Clear. Under if. What is wrong here? Void start. Roller. Do we hear maybe? No. Okay. Dot current chunk and chunk target map.
And also let's set the current.
Okay. Not there, here. Roller. Skip public game over, target map. Wrong. So are you gonna play repo? I don't have a repo. I don't have a repo to play it. If I had, then I'd play, but I don't have a repo. Okay, let's continue the scripting.
Chunk to be now if the player exits the chunk area.
Trigger, wall. Here, tag, player, chunk, target map. Okay. Map. But why is that like current chunk? Okay, now what's wrong? If so, this should be this, yeah. Let me try to fix it with the chat GPT. Here, tag. I forgot here. empty chunk. Trigger map. Protect player. Call. Active to be. And where I need this thing. In the end, I need to add one more. Okay. Done. Okay, now we can close it.
Alright, so now head back into the editor and set the player's object tag to player.
Okay. Player tag player.
Once that's done, open up your terrain chunk again and create a new empty game object called trigger.
Okay. Thanks. Trigger.
Make sure to reset its transform as well. Now add the chunk trigger script onto the object and drag the terrain itself.
Okay. Oops. And trigger. Because its script class cannot be found, make sure that there are no compile errors and the file name and class name match.
Into the target.
What? Why is... What's wrong? Chunk trigger mono behavior.
Now add the chunk trigger script onto the object and drag the terrain itself into the
Okay, that's really weird. Okay. Can't trigger how's it? Why it doesn't work? Work on my first game ever. Nah. New. That was chunks were not spawned incorrectly. The trigger on takes into account wherever you are inside the balls of the trigger. So if your chunk is 20, your trigger is 18 to 18. And your player is 1 to 1 outside the trigger, your game won't know what chunk to spawn. I figured this by making trigger as large as the chunk. 20. Oh. That's difficult to understand. Reason why does this happen? The trigger itself. Not spawning incorrectly. The trigger for on trigger state to D takes into account whenever the inside on trigger. So if chunk is ready, your triggers and players positioned outside of trigger space, your game won't know what chunk to spawn. So trigger should be 20 to 20. Okay. Good. As a mob generation. It's with the field you manage to okay, everything without mistake. You do a working result, but if you listen some proper explanations, with everything that are supposed to spawn, mine didn't. No, mine have spawned. Or never update the current chunk.
Editor and set the player's object tag to player. Once that's done, so
What's now?
alright, so now head back into the editor and set the player's object tag to player. Once that's done, open up your terrain chunk again and create a new empty game object called trigger. Make sure to reset its transform as well. Now add the chunk trigger script onto the object and drag.
That's very weird that it doesn't work. It may be... No, it's untagged, layer untagged. New script. Why it doesn't work? Chunk trigger, mono behavior. Chunk trigger. That's weird. Why it doesn't want to add components? Maybe... Let's get to the old, find object of type, maybe. Find old object of type then. Let's try with this one then. Trigger. Chunk trigger. Because the script cannot be found. Script class cannot be found. Make sure that there are no compile errors and the file name and class name the match. Chunk trigger. Let's see. Chunk. Ah. With this, no problem, but with the class name of it, there is a problem. What's that? Reset. Map controller. Chunk trigger. I can't understand really what's don't work and why it doesn't work. Execution order. In the file. No mono behavior script in the file or their name do not match the file name. Huh. Ah, I see. Well, let's try to put it like this. Trigger. Okay. On the behavior. Should be working now. No mono behavior. Target. Okay, now. No mono behavior script in the file, or their name doesn't not match the file name. Why? Hmm. Okay. Okay. Behavior doesn't work. In object view units, yeah. And trigger.
And also let's set the current chunk to be now if the player exits. And set. Alright, so
Player.
now head back into the editor and set the player's object tag to player.
Yeah, it's in those videos there is kind of some of errors because of, well, it's 2 years old videos. What did you expect it? Like, really? So I'm trying to do it by the guide, but you know, it's kind of difficult to understand what the problem is. As it scripts, it should be here. It's here. Its work is all the same. Camera movement, public class, trigger. Mob controller. What's wrong here? Script doesn't end it? Or what? This have the end? Yes. This one is half. This one is start of this. Ow. Ow. For what is that then? I didn't see the... Oh no, it's here. this and this. What the problem then? Where I need to put the let's let this thing check it. And checker. No. Turn. Ah, I see. In return, there is this. Okay. Nothing wrong here now. And map controller. Can't trigger warning object. And isn't object find any object by type? Find. Use object find first object by type. First object by type. Shouldn't be any problems now. Let's see if it works. Cause it's weird that it doesn't. Can't trigger default. Oh, now it's worked. I see. The problem was in another script. I see. Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, now it should work. Now it should. Okay, chunks, terrain, trigger, and then a trigger. We put a script of chunk trigger. Please work. Oh, finally, now it's worked. Okay, so the problem was in a previous script. Okay, that's fine.
Once that's done, open up your terrain chunk again and create a new empty game object called trigger. Make sure to reset its transform as well. Now add the chunk trigger script onto the object and drag the terrain itself into the target map. Then add a box collider
and trigger chunk.
Make sure to reset its transform as well. Now add the chunk trigger script onto the object and drag the terrain itself into the target map.
This I can off. Terrain chunk to the trigger. And now we copied this for every chunk, if I remember.
Then add a box collider 2D to set it bigger. Set the
box collider. Okay. Box collider 2D. Size 20 to 20.
The size to be the size of the grid you painted with a little margin. Now this is very important because this little margin can help us a lot. So in my case, since mine is a 2020 grid, I'll just go with 18 by 18.
Refer this trigger as well. Okay. 18 by 18. Is it really? Ah, I see. I need to make a trigger to 1. Then it will be like this. But what the problem he said? Trigger for untriggered state taken into account when you inside the box of the trigger. So if your chunk is 20 to 80, your triggers and your player is 1-to-1 position outside of the trigger space, your game won't know what chunk to spawn. I fixed it by making the trigger as large as the chunk. We'll need to do this for all chunks prefabs as well. Because easy with the map controller script, but right now it hasn't, and you can elaborate on easy that will be great. Why does this happen? Well, the chunk trigger script is only applied to the trigger itself. So once you exit the trigger space, your chunk no is executed. This will then affect your map controller script and should matter. Correct me if I'm wrong. So 1:1, scale 20:20. Like if I will do it like this, maybe it will be like it should be. I don't know. Okay. If I understand that right, it should be right. Okay.
So the reason why we need it to be smaller than the actual grid we have painted is because we need space and leeway for the on-trigger exit 2D to run. This is also the reason why we're creating a new game object and putting...
Oh, okay, so 18:18 then.
The trigger and script on top of it. We want to be able to change the size of the collider in the unlikely event that the player walks back and forth of the chunk. Yeah, so just to make sure that nothing funky will happen when they do that. If we simply place this on the terrain chunk itself, it won't work because the on trigger will only detect the first collider and it will interfere with our map controller script that is already on the terrain chunk script. So let's copy this over and yeah, so do the same for the other chunks that you've created.
Okay, so just copy, and for those chunks, paste it.
Okay, now open up your map controller script once again, and now we can start referencing the static points. Similar to how we set the no terrain position to be the player position plus length/width of the tile map, in their respective axes, we can do the same for the static points while omitting the player position for maximum precision. Now, change the setting of the no terrain position and the condition of the if statements to be their respective static points. We can do that by simply referencing the transform of the needed point with its name by using the transform.find function.
Run chunk transform. What? So we need to change it in the map controller now. And this is the biggest script. In the biggest shittest script. Okay. Save. Just in case. Okay, so this should be changed to current chunk, transform, find right position. Okay. So for not making a vector thing here, we can like just make a current chunk transform find. Okay. Current chunk transform form find. Right dot position. Okay. position chunk. Form position. I see. Why have we needed to just write all those down? Well, position right. Left. Position down, position up, right up, left up, right down, left down. Yeah. Why we even needed to? Okay. Left down. Down. Right down. Right down. Didn't it like, yeah. Right down, down, left down, up, yeah. Up. 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 Just up. Just down. Safe.
Chunk spawn perfect.
Now we need to test. Let's see if it now work like it should. For now it should work like it should. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. That's weird. Position.
Now when you hit play, you can see that these chunks spawn perfectly and are aligned with one another. Awesome. Now when you hit play, you can see that these chunks spawn perfectly and are
Nah, them not spawning at all. Maybe because our camera is like size of this. Let's make it size 4. Nah, it's not working. And what's the problem if it's not working? Chunk trigger. Maybe the problem here? Maybe we really need the old one. Find any object by type. Maybe now it's gonna work? I don't know. Nope, it's not. What's wrong? Maybe the problem in the scale those. Trigger 18 and 18. Trigger 18 to 18. Okay, now all should be fine. Now should be. Nope. It doesn't work. Oh, I need I hit the chunks not spawning incorrectly. Not at all spawning. Well, let's try to do the fully same what he did with the chunks. If it doesn't really work for me. So
called trigger. Make sure to reset its transform as well.
let's delete all of those triggers for now. Work with just this one. That's what I haven't did. I see. I haven't potted the thing in this. Okay, now let's try to, you know, copy, paste. Oh, wait, not to this, paste, and this. Maybe now it's gonna work like it should. Yep, the problem was in my brain. Yep, it is. Now it's all working like it should. Now our map is infinite. Let's go. Finally, I made something really good. Also, the object is kind of a random. Kind of. I like what I did. I really like what I did. Yep, I did it. It's now work. I fixed the problem what was in my brain. So okay, now it's work like it should. Now for the optimization thing.
Now add the chunk trigger script onto the controller script once again, and now we can start. Okay, so before we end off this part, there's something very important we need to do, and that is okay. Okay, so before we end off this part, there's something very important we need to do, and that is optimization. Since this game is infinitely generated, there will definitely be heavy load due to the amount of chunks we are spawning, especially in the later parts of the game. Therefore, we must create a way to minimize the amount of load. So our goal for this optimization will be to remove the chunks that the player is far away from. However, since we can't just outright destroy the objects since they have to still be the same chunks when the player eventually walks back, we should just disable them. So let's start by creating a few things.
Okay. Header optimization.
So let's go and create a game object list called spawn chunks that we will use to store the current chunks.
All the chunks.
Then we need a game object called latest chunk used to reference the last chunk that we just spawned.
Public game object latest chunk.
And a public float called max op distance, which is just a short form for maximum optimization distance, used to set our max distance for each of the chunks from our player before we disable it.
Float max p. This must be what? Must be greater than the length and width of the tile map. Ooh, honestly, my brain really melting hard. Very close to completed, but wow, that's taking so much time, honestly. And when I will gonna make a character, then will be such a gameplay, I'd say. Well, such a game dev.
And then the fourth is just create a float called op distance used to reference the current distance for each of our chunks from our player.
List.
You'll see why this is useful later. Next up, we just have to set the latest chunk to be the instantiated game object inside spawn chunk, and then
Player. Oh wait, you haven't see the. I see, you haven't see the script that I'm doing right now. Yeah, you haven't. Justice, Windows, Mac. No, not this. Okay, now you see what I'm doing.
And we need to add it to the spawn chunks list.
Void spawn chunk. Latest chunk. Instance. Spawn chunk, add latest chunk. Chunk.
Alright, now we are done with the setup. Time to now create the optimization. Create a new function called chunk optimizer for
Chunk. Is there? Okay.
and create a for each loop inside it with the spawn chunk list as the condition. Inside here,
for each game object chunk and spawn chunk, game object. Chunk.
we simply have to set the opdist to be the distance between the player and the chunk we are checking by using the vector3.distance function. Afterwards, we just need to check if it is more than the max opdist that we will set in the inspector later on. And if it is, let's just disable this object, and if it's not, we can just keep it enabled.
Distance. Layer transform position. Position chunk transfer position. Okay. And after it, if this max of this. Set active false. False. Else. And 6 active true.
Make sure to call the function inside update as well. Now head back into the editor and set the max op disk parameter in the inspector.
Controllers.
I'll set mine to 50. Now, take note that it
Up controller, max of this 50.
must be greater than both the length and the width of the tile map. This is because a lesser value of this max op disk will cause the map controller to spawn another chunk over the existing one because it will still be disabled. So this is very, very important because the collider doesn't work when it's disabled. So the physics 2D overlap circle cannot detect it. Now, if you hit play and continuously move towards the left or right, after a while you should see that the furthest chunk will disable itself, and if you walk back, it will return. However, as you can see, the original block doesn't disappear, and this is because it is not present in the list. We can just leave it as it is because it won't cause us trouble. But if you like, you can just add this like original chunk onto that list first. Okay, so before we end off, let's also add a cooldown to this optimization since we don't want to be continuously checking for the distance, as the calculation uses up a lot of processing power because we are basically just continuously just checking for where each of these chunks are, and the more we spawn, the more load it will have. So let's create a new public float called optimizer cooldown and a
Okay.
another float called optimizer cooldown duration.
Cooldown. Powerful of cooldown. What? Up, cooldown, duration.
And then all we need to do is just create a countdown loop like so.
Okay. Cooldown. Down. Time, delta time. If cooldown. Zero. Cooldown, cooldown. Duration. else? Turn.
Okay, now let's head back into the editor and set the optimizer cooldown duration to be something like 1. Great, now instead of calling every single frame, our optimizer now calls every single second. This will definitely be of help in the future. That's all for this part.
I'll put it every 5 seconds. Put it on 5 seconds.
In this part, we went through how to create infinite map generation. If you are a Patreon supporter, you can download the project.
Okay, so now we are done for today too. Oh wow. That took much more time than the last one. Last one took me like 2 hours. But in the last one, yeah, it took 3 hours and 14 minutes to create this. Now, Henry, you see why making games is difficult. Because even by the tutorial, you're taking too much time for this. Because there are many, like, problems. There are many, like, you know, stuff that isn't working like it should. Also, you know what? Let me check if... Chunk... Let's try to do the chunk trigger... Let's find not any object, but any first object. Because... Oh, wait. Any object by type. Ah, okay. It doesn't need to be changed. Okay. Okay, anyway, it's working without touching. Okay, so... Game like here. And let's see the scene. Okay. Yep. That was weird. Okay. No. Don't. Don't. This. We need only... You know what? I'd put the distance different. Map controller, inspector, optimization distance, 60, or even 80. Optimization cooldown there. That's 5 and 5. Okay, now it should be another optimization distance. Oh, it's kind of work like it should. Okay, that's weird. The one then. Inspector. Why it doesn't spawn them like that? Why it spawned at the upper one, but didn't spawn at the... That's weird. That's like really weird. Why it doesn't spawn it like it should? Just the video, slow down. Wait to have finished showing what you tell and before reaching this thing. Nah. I did everything in the video. Oh, control never update the current channel. It worked when it sees the player's position as a trigger, but ever since I added the grid trigger system, it won't update anymore. Oh. Console saying everything will work like it should, but well... We can't be sure about it, you know. But okay, I think that's enough. That's enough. Let's go and raid someone if we can. Who we can raid? We can raid... Steiner? Yeah, she is. Let's draw. Let's go to the Sina. Yeah. See you guys. We're going to raid Sina. We completed the thing that we done. Sina. Oh no.